Hi, everybody. My name is Katie Joe, and this is the basics of sound healing. Today, we're going to talk about how sound healing works, why it works, and what it is. You've probably been to a sound bath or two, or you've even just heard music in your car and you felt the beat going through your body and it felt good. There's probably some reasons that you're tuning into this video, and I'm excited to be part of this journey with you so that you can delve deeper. We want to talk about how come sound works, and we also want to talk about some ways that you can implement this into your life. So to understand what sound is, first we need to recognize that there are things called frequencies. So we're going to go on here and we're going to go ahead and look at frequencies. Let's see. All right. So when we talk about frequency, we're talking about things that are repeating patterns. You know, we all have heard of repeating patterns. So frequency is how frequently something occurs. So the frequency is the moving of a cycle. So it's let's see, frequency is an important parameter used in science and engineering to specify a rate of oscillatory and vibratory phenomenon, such as mechanical vibrations, audio signals, sound, radio waves, and light. So everything is frequency. They can pick up a chair and calibrate the frequency of it. They can pick up a lamp, they can pick up even emotions, light, everything has a frequency, and it's either quick, how many times it's going quickly, or it's going slow. The lower the frequency, the lower the density. Now versus hertz, hertz is derived of a unit of frequency, and it's defined as 1 cycle per second. So, and hertz is usually talked about a lot with sound. So some of the most common uses are in the description of sine waves and musical tones. Now, a hertz or a sine wave is how often a wave goes in a certain window of time. Noise is all around us. Noise is right here, all around us, all of the time, and it's creating conflicting patterns. And I can hear a plane going overhead. I hear the refrigerator humming right now. These are the things that my ears can hear right now, different conflicting hertz and frequencies that are going all chaotic. But if I close my eyes and I hear nothing, my brain is still picking up a lot more than my ears can. Human ears can only pick up so much. Think about how much dogs can hear, or even bats. Bats are sending out a sonar wave and they can hear everything around them, even though it's silent. We are even using sound right now. We know of ultrasounds. They look inside of the body or the mother's womb using sound waves. They can use sound to break up kidney stones. They can find that by sending a sound wave in, and they can see where the kidney stone is and break that apart. They can look under the ocean with sound waves. So sound is a wave, and as they use the wave, they can actually see the varying patterns and see where blocks are, see where tumors are, see where kidney stones are, things like that. And even though it's silent, our brains are still picking it up. So even if I think everything is silent, there are multiple frequencies and hertz that my brain is aware of, and my brain is picking up even though my ears aren't. And that's important. Now, our body is also a physical thing that's picking up sound waves as well. So when we're using sound, we're actually organizing the energy in the room, or organizing all of that frequency, because the most dominant sound is going to come in. So now I have all this chaos and this noise that's creating fragmented patterns, not only in my brain, but also in my physical body. And as that's occurring, when I turn that into a wave, the energy begins to flow in a pattern. As we're moving into frequencies, we're talking about light. Light has different frequencies as well, and we know that color is light, or yes, color is different variations of light. So here is different colors of light, and you can see the different frequencies here. You can see that red is going to be the lowest, and that's terahertz. And then you move up to violet, and that's going to be close to 800 terahertz. So violet light typically is the highest frequency, and it's very, very good for your body. Our body is light. They've actually gone under microscopes and found that on the atomic level, we're photons, we are light. Now, when we talk about light and frequency and all of this, what does it mean when we take all of this energy, we implement sound, and we create patterns? Well, we create patterns that are called sacred geometric forms. And I'm going to pull this up for you really quick. See if you can see this. Oops. So right here, if you look here, you can see that when we play sounds, this is going onto an instrument called a tonoscope. So different frequencies are creating different complex patterns on the tonoscope. So it's taking organ energy that was just chaotic, and by playing sound, it organizes the energy. Well, sound goes through your body. So sound goes through your cells, it goes through your physical body, and as it does that, it organizes the energy. So all these fragmenting patterns that we're getting sound polluted from all of the time are organized and then put back into balance. You see the balance, the symmetry here, that's going through your body. Here's another graphic that you can see. So here you can see some complex sound patterns. This is on water. You can see Tibetan mandalas here. You can see the way the planets move. This is the patterns of the way that the planets move around the sun. Here's the Mayan calendar right here. But most importantly, besides all this stained glass and things like that, here's our DNA. Here's the double helix, and when you put it on its end, here's what it looks like. And if you were to take this circle here and put it right on top of this sound wave, it would match up to certain points on these sound waves to create organized energy. Why is sacred geometry sacred geometry? Why are these patterns found all over the world? It's coded into our DNA, into our subconscious, into our psyche, and these patterns, even in architecture, in buildings, in cathedrals, in big buildings, they have to use these sacred geometric and these architecture or patterns so that the buildings don't fall down. These patterns are inside our body. These patterns are natural to us, but when we're experiencing sound pollution and everything is frequency and everything is sound, when we're experiencing this all around us all of the time, it's taking these natural rhythms, patterns, and flow, and it's making it out of balance, and it's creating dis-ease in our body. Let me show you another example if I can pull that one up. So when they calibrate frequencies based off of a book called Power versus Force by David Hawkins, who's a PhD, they can see the frequency that emotions have. So shame is 20. That's the lowest frequency emotion that human beings are capable of. It's being miserable. It's humiliation, right? We're moving up. You can see regret. You can see the frequency log right here. Anything over 200 creates health and wellness, and anything under it creates disease in the body. So even emotions with a lower frequency are creating a frequency in our body. They're mixing up the patterns that we carry. Why does this matter with sound? Well, when we can flood the body with sound with higher frequency tones and things like that, we're able to lift the physiology of the body. Therefore, mind, body, soul, lifting the emotional, mental state of the body as well. It's a way to hack the system. When you're in guilt or grief or shame, it's really hard to lift yourself out of those lower frequencies. But if you can physiologically lift yourself and move that into your body, or you're administering to a client that way with either sound, tone, music, hertz, tuning forks, sound bowls, drumming, whatever it is, you can shift the energetic body, the physical body, and lift that and move things emotionally too. Let's go ahead and close this one so we can get that out of the way. When we talk about cymatics is this graph right here, where it's the study of sound waves and how it affects the physical body and physical environment. Let's go ahead and close that. Right here, if you've ever heard of the hidden messages of water, a scientist named Masaru Emoto. He studied water molecules exposed to sound and words. So look at the words on the water molecules. If we say, you disgust me, or you are full, the water molecules break down. He showed this also with heavy metal music. He showed this with rap music and things like that. Computers, electricity, things like that. The water molecules break down. When we play Bach, when we play positive music, when we play high frequency tones, use words, use pictures of beautiful things. See the water molecules here, they create sacred geometric shapes, which is then again supporting the DNA and being healthy. So this is how we use sound and why sound works. I have to close all of these out so that I stop pulling them up, because sometimes I do. So if you're in the sound healing world, you're going to hear the word Fibonacci. Now, Fibonacci is a pattern of numbers that was discovered. Let's see if it'll tell me right here. It was discovered not too long ago, in the last couple hundred years. And what they found is it's a sequence of adding numbers. 0 plus 1 is 1. So you go 1, it equals 1. You go 1 plus 1 equals 2. 2 plus 1 equals 3. 3 plus 2 equals 5. So you just start kind of jumping around with this. And this Fibonacci and this pattern matters because this pattern exists in nature, even in our body, and it creates what's called the golden ratio, or pi. So our bodies are pi, our bodies are the golden ratio, and this pattern is found all over nature. So this is the foundational mathematical code to not only our physical body, but all of nature, everywhere, and growing in what we're meant to grow. If you look at, this is, you've seen the seashell, this is Fibonacci, this is the golden ratio. We see it all over, it's coded into us. Look at this right here. This is Leonardo da Vinci. He used the golden ratio in so many of his paintings, and he's considered one of the greatest masters. Mozart used the Fibonacci sequence in all of his music. The scale of notes in Western music is based on the Fibonacci sequence, and I don't know that it was even intended that way. When we go down to even the best made violins, which is called the Stradivarius, they're based on the golden ratio. So whenever we are like, wow, that's the best music, that's the best art, this is the best way a violin sounds, we are inherently coded to this Fibonacci sequence. Let me see. We're going to come right here to explain. This is Nature's by Number, the Fibonacci sequence. So that shows the Fibonacci sequence. That shows how big and how everything in nature is around this frequency by itself. So that kind of shows why these frequencies are important and why when we're using sound, it's important as well. So I want to talk to you a little bit about, we've talked about cymatics, we've talked about Fibonacci, we've talked about hidden messages of water and why sound affects the water in our body. The only last thing that we really need to discuss is the Solfeggio frequencies. And let's chat about what that is. Let me see. Let's share the screen. Let's jump right here. Now, Solfeggio frequencies. We're going to go through this. We're jumping right in here. These are specifically frequencies that help with promoting various aspects of mind, body, and health. They date back to ancient histories, Gregorian monks, Sanskrit chants. So across the world, these people who were singing and they were creating these tones just intrinsically knew what would create health and wellness in the body. They knew what created spirituality and what felt the best. So based on that, Dr. Joseph Puleo rediscovered the Solfeggio frequencies in the 1970s, and they found like, wow, all of these chants and things are the Solfeggio frequencies, way before they knew anything about tonoscopes or cymatics. So he began, a doctor biochemist, Dr. Glenn Rain, in 1988, began to take DNA vials and to expose them to different frequencies, to different music. And he found that with different frequencies, the body was able to absorb more UV light absorption. The more UV light absorption, the healthier our DNA is. It actually repairs itself. So he exposed DNA to classical music, to Sanskrit chants, to Gregorian chants, and these things that were the Solfeggio frequencies created health. The Gregorian chants and the Indian chants created health. Classical helped a little bit, and they actually found that rock music damaged the DNA and created disease. So I love rock music just like everyone else does, but I'm also aware that it causes damage in the body. It actually is unwinding these patterns. That's what I say. I don't know how they say it, but that's what I experience. Well, in using different frequencies, they were able to say, okay, well, if we have a frequency of 222, how does that affect the DNA? Oh, how does 223? How does 224? How does 225? How does 226? And they tested all these frequencies on the body. And they created, these are the very, very best frequencies for the body. These specific hertz are the best for the body. And we're going to call these Solfeggio. But Solfeggio is based on the Schumann resonance. And if you're watching this, you're thinking, Katie, stop with the words, no more, right? But the Schumann resonance is really cool. The Schumann resonance, you can read all of this, I'll include it as a download, is the heartbeat of the Mother Earth. They have found that the heartbeat of the Mother Earth is a hertz and a frequency, and it is pulsing. And it just so happens that all of the hertz and all of the frequencies are on an octave of 8 or multiplication of 8 based off of the Schumann resonance. So when you come here, they've tested 432 and they've said 432 does this to the body. This is a Schumann or Solfeggio frequency. It causes the very, very best in your heart. This is really good for peace and well-being. 528 starts to be creation. It starts to heal the DNA. It increased the cell life by 20%. Let's see. 396 removes subconscious fears. 639 helps balance emotions. Shoot, I should be listening to that. 741 helps with problem solving. 852 replaces negative thoughts. So sometimes people think, oh, it's sweet, let's just go with the highest possible. It's not always the case. Specific hertz do specific things. So when you're looking at Solfeggio is specifically based on these, it's 7. They've limited, they've kind of said here's 7 frequencies that are the best and what they do, and they've calibrated those in the body. They've actually shown that notes, we're coming all the way down to here, C note, D note, E note, F note, G note, A note, B note, that actually calibrates to a specific chakra and color. So we're talking frequency, hertz, solfeggio, all in the body. So in the sound bowl training, when we teach the crystal bowls, the metal bowls, and we teach the ancient bowls, we talk about what notes go to different areas on your body. We talk about what chakras are and why it matters. But for now, for sound healing basics, all you need to know is that sound affects the physical body, and it can recalibrate the wave patterns in your body so that your body can heal and repair itself. Let's see, the very last thing that we want to do today is to show you the way that sound affects. Let's see, just want to make sure. So we want to show you the way that sound affects us by the physical environment.
The film you're about to see has no characters. If you spare a little of your imagination, it is a film to describe to you the effect of cymatic frequencies on matter. Everything owes its existence solely and completely to sound.
So what you'll see from that video is one of my favorite parts is when they hit the symbol, and when it's activated with sound, what was solid is now becomes a wave pattern. It shows that this hard symbol with sound actually becomes like liquid, and that's happening in your body. That's happening when sound is implemented into your body. It's taking stuck blocks and things like that, and it's creating your body's energy flowing. And when that's occurring, then you create health. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this first video of sound basic killings. You've learned a couple terms, and you've learned a couple other things so that you can implement this, even if it's just using some YouTube videos to look up some specific hertz and things like that. Remember, you'll get your download included in this module, and if you'd like to learn some more sound healing, like how to use sound bowls or how to use drums or how to use tuning forks, I'm going to be creating an online program, an online certification program, and I'd love to have you be part of it so that you could learn how to use all of the tools that you'd like. So have a beautiful day, and I'm grateful for you tuning in. Remember to go to katiejodrum.com or to sagecanvas.com to find out any of our local events or to come to our Sound Bath Saturdays and Drum Circles. Have a beautiful, beautiful day.